So this is my Shark Robot Vacuum, and I recently made a video where I diagnosed the fault with it. It turned out that the motor was just blown, and I don't know if this is a common issue or not. It was giving me the error suction strength too low. So yeah, I took it all apart. I was testing a bunch of stuff, and then eventually, when I took out this motor, it stopped giving me that error. So, and then I was testing this with the power supply, and it was like sparking in the inside, and eventually I killed it. I just by trying to get it to work with the power supply. I thought maybe that I could, maybe the brush was just like not making good contact or something. But yeah, it was really on its way out. So I was able to find a replacement motor, and it just came in. So here's the replacement motor. As far as I can tell, it's 1-for-1. It's exactly the same as the other one. The only difference being the color of this plastic down here. But otherwise, dimensionally, it's identical. So I'm pretty sure this is going to work. So first of all, I guess I need to get back into this vacuum. So let's just start by taking this thing apart and getting down to the actual vacuum suction part of it so that I can replace the impeller and put the new motor in. Once you get all these torque screws out, you can then just lift up the whole top panel. And there's some clips around the outside of here. I've taken this thing apart so many times that I've broken like most of them though. There it is. So yeah, top cover comes off. Thankfully there's no electronics stuck to here, so you don't have to pull any wires or ribbon cables off. This is what we're interested in. This is the, what houses the motor and the impeller. So we need to get the board out because it's kind of keeping this part in so that we can get this part out and take it apart and replace the motor and impeller. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this the rest of the way apart to get this board off the top. All right, so we got down to it. I just unplugged enough of the cables so that I can just swing this out of the way. And then we can get to these 3 screws that hold in the vacuum chamber. I don't know what to call this. Just pull this right out. Kind of looks like a turbo. I'm just gonna get the bulk of this out of the way and we'll just work with that thing. This has 1 screw right here and then it clamshells apart. And there's some clips too. Thankfully, they're sturdy clips. It's like it's designed to be taken apart in the event that the motor burns out. Oh yeah, and then the little rubber grommets kind of hold it in too, to a degree. So yeah, that's it all taken apart. So yeah, these vanes spin. It sucks up air through here and then spits it out these holes on the sides. And interestingly, this thing is has a cool design. There's all these little nubs around the outside, and I'm pretty sure that these are for balancing this. So I bet what they do is they put this on this little spinny deal, and then they just nip off these little nubs as needed until they get the impeller balanced perfectly so it doesn't wobble around. So next, I'm gonna borrow or reuse this plug. So let's get the soldering iron going. We got the iron set to 375. Add a tiny bit of flux to these. Go. And the other thing I think I need to do is take off these foam strips, and hopefully I can reuse them. That's obviously just to dampen noise and vibrations. And then I just stuck the screws back into the motor just for safekeeping. This wire as it is like just long enough to plug in. So I'm going to just try and clean the solder up so that I can fit it through the holes in the motor. But if not, I'll just solder onto the tabs. See if we can thread it through these holes. Yep, got it. Okie dokie. Put some flux on this and solder these wires on. Looks pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So now let's slot this through here. Pretty sure that's correct. Screw these little screws in back in here. Screws in back in. All right, now I think we can put the impeller on, and there's a little itty bitty plastic cap thing goes on top of the shaft. So we'll put this over. It slips on perfectly, so that's definitely the right diameter. And then this, I believe it went wider part down. That just kind of locks it onto the impeller. That spins freely. I think that's good. Clip this together, slot the grommets back in. So yeah, that looks good. Just put the screw in. All right, let's get the vacuum back up here and get this installed. Goes a little something like this, but I'll try not to pinch the wires. I think they should go out this way and through this little channel right here. That's in there. And put these 3 washer screw combo things back in. Just make sure you're not pinching any of the wires that run under and back over. Put this over, just lining up these little posts and also making sure your wires aren't getting caught underneath. All right, that's on there. These 2 go here and here. These are little torque screws. I was getting really frustrated because the wheels with their springiness were just like moving this up and down. So just do yourself a favor and take off the wheels before you do this kind of repair. It's just way easier. I got one of the screws in here, now I have to put this other one. Now we have to plug everything back in. The vacuum motor actually plugs into this 3-pin header, even though it only has 2 pins on the connector. I guess maybe other models of this vacuum have a 3rd pin for like a tachometer. Now that those are all in, I'm going to go ahead and just get these motors assemblies installed again. All right, I think that's everything plugged in. Now we can get the rest of these screws in. Okay, so that's all screwed in. And once we're happy with all the wire management and how everything is situated, we can finally put the top back on. Just make sure those posts go through the holes. Flip it back over. And then put in these 2 screws just to keep it on for now. Now, I think we can put the bumper on. And we can put this part on, just like that. And then I've lost most of the screws for this, but there's longer screws and there's shorter little torque screws. And I think the longer one goes in the front and then the shorter ones go in these positions. But I only have 3 left, there should be 5. And then, yeah, I think we just need to put the rest of these screws in and give it a test. All right, got it all back together. And let's just turn on the power switch and hope for the best. Hey, look at that. It still turns on. Now I guess nothing left to do but put it on the floor and see if it actually vacuums. All right, so I swept up a little pile of dust and let's see what he does. Can he actually eat it now? Is he fixed? Oh, it's so much quieter. And it looks like he did. It's not perfect, but I think he's working again. Wow, it sounds so quiet. I'm curious. Yeah, it went into the chamber, so it is actually sucking, but it's like 10 times quieter than it used to be. I'm guessing because that motor is new and fresh and not dying. All right, cool. Well, that's about it. Just wanted to get some closure on this vacuum, and I am super thankful that it's fixed now. So it'll actually be working for me again and not just sitting in the corner collecting dust. You really take it for granted how awesome having a robot vacuum is when you have to sweep every day. So yeah, I guess thanks for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, repairs and other electronic shenanigans, go ahead and get subscribed. All right, later guys.